midnight calls, he won't fall down. Carrying dreams, he holds the crown. Steps alone, but never weak. Strength in every voice that speaks. A spark ignites, the crowd takes flight. Hearts united, burning bright.
All right, welcome back, trainers. So this should be our last tutorial video for a while. Very exciting. So after everything you guys have learned so far from me, how much you guys have learned on your own, right? I want to make sure we've got everything compiled perfectly so that way you guys have the perfect solution for all your grinding needs, especially since level 80 is coming out on October 15th. It's crazy. And that's only going to be for trainer level at this point. So again, getting the XP is going to be very crucial here. So I want to make sure you guys have everything put together in a nice package that makes sense, it's easy to understand, and that we can basically get you guys completely up to speed on exactly what you need to do when grinding this XP, since it's going to be a ton of XP you're going to need to get from even 50 to 80. Right now, at this moment, there's a lot of talk about it only being 500 million XP, which is still a lot, but there's going to be a lot of trainers that have already got that. So what do you need to do that? Well, you guys will see up on the screen right over here, you guys are going to want to go clear gyms. As you guys have probably seen on some of my live streams that I've talked about in a very first tutorial video, clearing gyms is very, very important, especially when it comes to maximizing your gains and basically making it so that way you are you're able to better utilize a specific area. Now, for me personally, I like to grind in nests. It makes my life a lot easier when I do it, because then I can collect on a specific Pokemon's candy and I can go from there. So I can build one thing. The whole thing is I want to grind these candies up as much as possible so that way I can better utilize my candy. So in case I find something better, whatnot, I've got the candy. I don't have to worry, especially if there ends up being a shortage on said Pokemon. So that's gonna be your first thing. Make sure you got an area where you can grind candy as much as possible. Now, if you aren't looking for candy specifically and you just want that XP, just want the Stardust, right? There are other ways to do it. You want to utilize an area that has got a ton of spawns. Okay, that's going to be the big thing. So either one is going to either be an area where there's a ton of a specific Pokemon, like a nest, or an area with a ton of spawns. Either way, if you're utilizing a nest, since you're grinding, make sure you are utilizing it for XP and Stardust as well. But again, that way you're not just going after a bunch of different Pokemon, you're able to just go after one, which is going to bring us to our next point. Make sure you guys are getting at least great throws, but I would highly suggest getting those excellent throws as much as possible. As you guys have seen from our original video, or very first tutorial, there is a big difference between great throws and excellent, but there's a very, very big difference between nice and excellent. And so again, nice, it'll yield a little bit of extra XP. It's not necessary. If you want to utilize as much gains as possible, focus on getting excellence as much as possible. This is why nests are going to be great. I've shown that off on a live stream before, where you can, once you master how to get that excellent on a said Pokemon, you can do it every time. For the most part, as long as they're not jumping, utilize adventure effects, which will be our next part, to basically make it so that way you can ensure your catches are going to be there. Okay. All right. And that's our next one we're going to go into, is adventure effects. So there is a time and a place for adventure effects, and you're going to want to go and know which adventure effects to use and why. Now, I'm not going to cover each and every single one of them at this point, but the most popular ones to use, if you're, let's say, on a budget with your coins, you don't have enough of these premium items, said like lucky eggs or star pieces, right? You can utilize Dialga's or Dialga Origin Form's Roar of Time. That will go and extend out those timers. It freezes those, so that way you basically got this extra time to work with that. So it's very, very powerful to use. However, if you're not if you're like me, rather, you don't really need to utilize that. You're going to utilize things more like Spatial Rend, Lunala, or sorry, not a Lunala, but Necrozma, the Dawnwing, or the Dustmanes, and you're going to also utilize White and Black Kyurem. I personally use a lot more Black Kyurem than I do White, and the reason being, Black Kyurem, that makes it so they stay put. They don't move. Now, White Kyurem is good if you're going in for the catch itself. You're going to be spamming excellent throws. You're actually going to manually do it. If you're going to be doing a lot of auto catcher as well, I would use Free Shock. That makes it so, yeah, you're going to have an extra, a little extra gain potential on being able to catch that Pokemon. So it's going to make it a little easier, even for the auto catcher. Now, both will do it, but again, Free Shock's a little bit better in my opinion. But this also depends on if you're going to be at a nest or not. If you're not at a nest, you're going to have the random spawns. So you're going to have event spawns, you're going to have just random spawns that are going to be in those areas, things like that. So pay attention to which type of setup you're going to have. Again, I highly suggest nests. Makes it easier. It's a lot more reliable when it comes to those catches. All right, after that, you guys will see up on the screen right here, max battles. They are going to be absolutely essential. Even if you're hitting the 1-stars, if you're looking for XP, 5,000 a pop. And if you can go and spam excellence on them, say for instance on a Charmander, if you're able to get those excellence. Again, this is going to be crucial for those XP gains. 5,000 XP plus 1,000 plus everything else, first ball, blah, 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 blah. You can see that on the first tutorial. But it's gonna add up quickly. If you got that lucky egg, you're looking at a lot of XP gains. You're looking at the equivalent of a raid battle, right? Without any boosts. So you're gonna be looking at something you can do in a significantly less time frame, if you will. So again, I suggest max battles over raid battles. Now, raid battles can be good, and especially if you've got a large group of people that you can constantly get in your raids, it's a very, very powerful way to go and gain XP, especially if you're able to do it in 30 seconds or less and get your catch in, give or take, about anywhere between 5 and 6 seconds on average. It's not gonna be a problem. But anything after that starts to basically make the max battles look significantly better. Because again, if you can do it without going into max form, then you're able to go and save yourself a whole lot of time, and the XP gains are way better. So again, max battles, raid battles, utilize them both, but know that if you're going to be doing it in a nest, you're going to have very, very limited amounts. You'll have a certain amount you can do in that nest over a certain amount of time. So again, pay close attention to these things. Raids, however, they will refresh eventually, but only hit the 4 and 5 star raids. If there's a 6, definitely hit those, but again, you're going to require a larger amount of people for that versus like a duo with a 4 or 5. You can end up needing 5 or 6 people minimum, at least, on those 6 stars. So keep that in mind. On top of that, utilizing routes, which you'll also see right here, they're really, really powerful to use. You're going to be able to go and get a ton of extra catches, catch opportunities, items, Stardust opportunities, really. So again, it just adds to it. Make sure to utilize those. I can never stop explaining why those are so useful. They're just beneficial all around. So any place you go, make sure it has a quick and easy route to handle. My opinion is find a place where you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever, just basically go back and forth on a few of them and just have it so it covers that exact area you're going to be grinding in. After that, make sure you have your Mega Evolved Pokemon ready for your location. If you're going to be in a random location, Primal Groudon or Primal Kyogre or Mega Rayquaza are going to be your best friends. Why? Because they cover 3 types rather than 2. This is going to be important, especially if there's going to be random spawns. Pay attention to what those spawns could be. Utilize the best one according to that. If you're in an area, let's say in a city, pay attention to the biomes, what types can commonly spawn there. You can find this over on the Pokemon Go website. Very, very powerful tool, especially if you know for your season, what are those city spawns going to be? What are those forest biomes going to be? Know what those T cells are. So here at Lens Park, it's a lot of forest biome, but we also have city. So I have a mix in this area. So when I walk over on the east side of the park along the trail, I tend to get a lot more forest going up towards Walker Stadium. But the minute I get to where Walker Stadium's at and I come over on the north side or even going down on the west side, I end up running out a lot more city biome. So again, know your T cells. This is going to be absolutely crucial when it comes to your grind phases and tell you what type of Pokemon you're going to need. Again, this also goes on nests. Find a nest that's also a consistent biome. So if you're going to be in city, you have your options. You're going to need to go generally with one of those 3 megas. But if you're in a nest, however, that's a different story. You can go with a standard mega a lot of the time. Find the most consistent type. For instance, I'm in a grubbin nest, but I also know that I'm going to be running into, due to the event, grass, water, fire, and normal types are going to be the primary ones to go and run into. So I'll be focusing more on something that's going to go and cover as much as possible. So because I'm in a grubbin nest, I know I can get electric off that. And because there's also a water spawn, I can go Kyogre here because it also boosts bug as well. So I've got 3 types. I can hit all 3 here. I just won't be able to go and get anything for Charmander or Bulbasaur. Not a big deal. But again, that's what I can utilize. Now, I'm not utilizing it currently, but I just wanted to kind of just highlight that. If you're going to be grinding a nest, those are things to go and take into consideration. And last but not least, as I've already stated before, utilize your lucky eggs, especially for XP, but also utilize your star pieces. Again, if you're going to be doing a grind of both, which is what I suggest, then you do it that way. But if you're going to be doing that, note nests are going to be better for that, especially if you're able to find a Stardust Pokemon. Now, what is a Stardust Pokemon? Well, I've listed them before, mostly on live stream. So things like Morlul, that line, so Morlul, Shiinotic, Shroomish, Breloom, Paris and the Parasect, Dino, the Meowth line outside of Galarian Meowth. Those are going to be the Pokemon you really, really want to go and see if you can find in a nest. Now, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. Pay attention to what can spawn in said biomes and in the season, what's going to be spawnable. Pay very, very close attention to that. Other than that, basically just mass catch. You're going to want to utilize the quick catch method as much as possible. Have an auto catcher. Use pine nut berries. Utilize those adventure effects. Utilize routes. And of course, make sure your gyms are all your colors so you can maximize your gains. Now, any location you're going to be going to, okay, now this is going to be your setup, right? Your total setup for what you need to be looking for. You want to have a ton of stops, a ton of power spots, and a ton of gyms. So now this is where it's going to come into an even bigger thing here. And this is why I got to continually highlight this. Find yourself a community ambassador location. Bonus, there's one more thing I want to make sure you guys also utilize as much as possible. And that is make sure you guys open all of your gifts every single day. Build up your friendships, get those things ready, get them lined up for those lucky eggs, and you can maximize even further on your XP. Now, you're also gonna get some Stardust with it, you're gonna get some items. This is gonna be crucial. So again, if you're not able to get out even, right? Let's say you've got a long day of work or you've got to be traveling, right? If you can get to a location where you've got some service, just open your gifts and make sure you're utilizing that as much as possible. Again, get those things coordinated so that way you can go build up to those best friend and ultra friends. You're going to start be able to go and get some massive gains just from lucky egging those. But make sure you're going to be coordinating so you have a few of them at a time. I would say anywhere between at least 4. Get 4 at a time. Lucky egg that'll bring you over 1 million experience at a time. So that'll be huge. Make sure to go and get, if you can get, let's say you have the ticket, you're able to get 40 or so, right? That's gonna be, let's see, 10 million XP, I think it is. Yeah, 10 million XP, a little over that, just from that alone. So if you can get 40 friends coordinated, you're gonna be flying with XP. And make sure to also utilize the current XP celebration event right now. Goes through October 14th, I believe. Make sure to utilize that as much as possible. Spam it. Pound out as much of that as you possibly can every single day. If you're able to get, I believe it's from right now, I believe if you get at least three to 4 pages a day, you should be able to finish it by then. Just make sure you guys are spamming it as much as possible. If you guys have any other questions, again, or you guys got any concerns or anything, please leave them down in the comment section down below. And of course, this is our last tutorial video for right now. There will be more as soon as we have more tutorials need to be added. I do have other things I'm going to be doing coming up soon. So for those that need help with those specific special research based on level and things like that, we do have those coming, but it's about vlog time. So we're going to be getting into that really shortly. But thank you guys for tuning in for this one. Again, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the notification bell. That way you guys will get notified when we get our next videos up. I know it's been a while, but again, makes it easier. Really just helps us with the algorithm. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.